What's up, you guys? My name is Zeta and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I do in order to stay on top of all of my things. How I manage my time and how I'm able to stay on top of my schoolwork, my job, as well as research and my extracurricular activities. A lot of you guys always ask me how I manage to do all of the things that I do, and I'm going to be honest with you, I have established a lot of habits in order to keep track of my time and be able to get all of my things done. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of my advice and some of my strategies on how I manage being able to work. I work 3 jobs and I'll get into that, as well as handle my extracurriculars such as research, as well as managing a club. I am the president of a club here on, as well as being able to work out, have time for myself, hang out with friends, and still get good grades. It is honestly a lot. So I'm gonna get into some of those strategies. If you're new to college or you might just be older and you're struggling to manage your time, I completely understand that. Honestly, it took me a long time and a lot of mistakes before I was able to have a solid routine in order to keep track of all of my things and in order to make sure that I get everything done. I remember vividly my sophomore year, I put way too much on my plate and my grades were slipping. I was forgetting assignments and a lot of my things were falling through, and I learned a lot from that helped me now in my junior and senior year that I use in order to be successful in my jobs as well as in all the other areas of my life. So I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of the things that I learned and how I manage my time. I hope that you guys find this useful, and I hope that my tips can help you either manage a bit more on your plate or just give you some advice in order to manage your time better. As always, this is just what works for me and it might not work for you. So please feel free in the comments to share some of your strategies on how you manage your time that I might have not covered in this video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I get asked a lot, is how to manage a job on top of a full load of classes. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, this is very difficult. I am not going to sugarcoat and say, oh, working while being a full-time student is easy, because it is not. I have been there where I do not want to go to work. I feel like I do not have the time. And anyone who says that it's not stressful is completely lying. It is very hard to manage a job on top of classes. It's because you just don't have as much free time to study as you would if you were not working. However, if you're like me, I have to work in college. Working is a non-negotiable. And if you also pay your way through college, you're going to need to work to make money. So the first thing I would like to make note of when it comes to working while being a full-time student is the type of job you have matters. I am extremely picky on the types of jobs that I work because since it is so difficult to have to take time out of studying to work a job, I try my best to find jobs that really will be flexible with my school schedule. For example, the first job that I ever got in college, at my campus library, and honestly, I think that is one of the best student jobs, especially if it's one of your first jobs. Because most campus libraries are open 24/7, if not, they're open majority of the day. I know mine is from 7:45 a.m. to midnight. And so that leaves a lot of hours available to work. And a lot of them, since it's an on-campus job, are fully aware that you're a full-time student, and they usually are very flexible where they'll let you work very small shifts in between class that add up over time. So you can work 20 hours a week by just staying on campus and in between your classes going to work a shift at an on-campus job. It doesn't have to be at the library, but I really liked the library because I liked all of the people that I got to meet. Everyone comes into the library, and they also were very nice about letting me do my homework as long as it was on the computer at our library. So I could honestly do my homework while getting paid, which is really a perk of on-campus jobs. I know most on-campus jobs let you work on assignments as long as you get your job done. So as long as I was helping students in the library, I was allowed to do my homework when I wasn't helping a student. And that is such a lifesaver. They also are very flexible when you have exams. They usually are very understanding if you can't work your shift. So I would say that look for on-campus jobs first before trying to find an off-campus job, as a lot of off-campus jobs are not very flexible with school scheduling. Now, the next thing, as far as off-campus jobs, I tried to find a job that was beneficial for my long-term career pursuits. You may not know what you're interested in as far as long-term career, so that's okay. But for me, I'm a biochemistry major and I was very interested in medicine, and so I got a job at the hospital. Because not only do they pay well, but it also aligned with my interests at the time. So for me, that was a really great job because it kept me motivated actually to continue my classes and continue studying. So I didn't want a job that took me out of my class mindset. Instead, I got a job that further inspired me to want to study and pursue medical research. So if you need to find an off-campus job, I would try to find a job that's interesting to you and that aligns with what you're studying in college. And the last thing about jobs, if you considered an on-campus job and an off-campus job, another job route you could go is remote jobs. So for me, I did tutoring, and for my tutoring, I strictly did it only on Zoom. That way, I could have people schedule me to tutor, but I did it all online. So I could do that from the comfort of my home right here, just a 30-minute Zoom call, and get paid for that. So I would just go online and look for remote jobs that you could possibly do on your computer from anywhere. For me, I do medical research at my hospital as well, and I can do that remotely anywhere on my laptop. So for me, that was a great option because I'm able to do that without having to go off campus somewhere else to work a shift. I can do it on my own time in the comfort of my home or on campus or whenever I just have my laptop available. So I definitely recommend remote jobs if you have some sort of skills like statistics, marketing, anything that you can use remotely. I would highly recommend looking into remote jobs as well if you need something that's a bit more flexible. So in summary, I would say the first thing you should do if you're looking for jobs, honestly, is on-campus jobs. They're super flexible. You might get paid less, but then you're able to do your homework so you can keep your grades up. If you get an off-campus job, maybe this would be more ideal for the weekends. They usually pay more, but sometimes it's really hard to have a flexible schedule with your classes, as well as it can be a bit difficult to manage your schoolwork if you're working a lot off campus. And then lastly, another job option I would look into is remote jobs. I do a mix of all three as far as able to support my life, and that is what supports my income. But you do not have to do all of that. I just do because I enjoy it, because I enjoy all of the jobs that I work. So these are just some job options for you if you're considering getting a job while working in school. Now, my next thing I want to touch on is organization. So really, when it comes to organizing things, you're going to need some sort of system where you can keep all of your due dates, your classes, all of your work shifts, or any sort of extracurricular that you have. You want to have some sort of document or place where you can go and see your full schedule. For me, my freshman and sophomore year, I did this on a physical planner. I used to write everything down. I wrote down all of my due dates for assignments, all of my daily to-do lists, my club meetings. I wrote down everything on my planner. But honestly, if you like a physical planner, I really did enjoy it my freshman and sophomore year. However, as I got older, I just kept adding more things on my plate. And at a certain point, keeping up with a physical planner just wasn't working for me. So I switched, instead of using a physical planner, I use Google Calendar, and I found this to be a little bit more helpful because I am always on my computer. My computer is always with me, and so it was just very easy to keep my calendar tab always open. So every time, every day I would go to open my laptop, I would see my calendar. It also made it way easier to add things to it, no matter how much I had to add to my calendar. It didn't really matter because it was just quick and easy and it's all online, versus if you have a handwritten planner, sometimes it can get full really fast and then you're having to write really small to keep everything in. And I don't know, I just had a hard time keeping up with it once I got older. So if your system is not working, find a new system. That's what I had to do. I kept thinking, oh, well, physical planner is so cute, I want to keep it. But it worked for one period of my life, but not the next. So I switched to an online calendar. I definitely recommend that if you have a lot on your plate. And another feature I really like is there's reminders on online calendars. I have a Google Calendar app on my phone, so I get reminders of all of my due dates and meetings in case I forget, which I find extremely helpful because if I'm not on my laptop, I'm definitely on my phone, and if I get a notification, I'm definitely going to see it. But whatever system you use, you just need a system that actually keeps you accountable and on track. Some people I know use a mix of physical planners and online planners, but whatever works for you, you just need something that keeps you on track and getting your deadlines. Now, this next tip is for my super busy people. You need to carve out time for yourself every single day. I know that may seem crazy, like, duh, I need to carve out time for myself. Of course I spend time on myself. But really, if you are a workaholic or you're prone to putting too much on your plate, you may think you make time for yourself, but I know for me, I fell into the trap my sophomore year where I used to believe that me working a job that I love, me going to class because I enjoy my class, was making time for myself because I enjoy the things that I do. Yes, you may enjoy the things that you do, and that's what you want. You want to enjoy everything you're doing. However, that's still not making time for yourself. You need to have time where you are doing something only for you. Whether that is, for me, that is quiet time where I can read my Bible and I can spend time with God, and working out. So those are two things that I carve out every single day, time for me to work out and time for me to spend time with God. So I carve time out in the morning, every single morning, to do those things. And if I can't do it in the morning, I'm carving out some sort of time, either in the evening or in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter, it's gonna get done because I treat it the same way I treat going to class or going to a meeting. It is time that I carve out, put on my schedule, and it will get done. And so I highly recommend treating yourself like a meeting. It is just so easy to get stuck in a trap where you are doing everything for everyone else and you forget to fill up your own cup. And I'm telling you right now, that will just lead you to burnout. I have been there, trust me, where I am just running around like crazy, going from classes to work to meetings and doing nothing for myself. And it honestly makes you a miserable person to be around because everyone can tell that you're stressed. And so I honestly think you work better, and you're not only a better student and an employee, you are just so much better physically, mentally, when you show up for yourself. When you are doing the things for yourself every single day and filling your own cup, you will show up to all of your other things in the day so much better. You'll be able to study better, you'll be a better student, you'll be a better employee, and all around, you'll just be a much better person to be around. So I highly recommend, if you have to put it on your calendar, put it on your calendar, that you're going to spend 30 minutes where it doesn't have to be something huge. It could just be, I want 30 minutes where I'm going to doom scroll, and that's what I want to do because that makes me feel good. And if that's what makes you feel good, you need to carve out time where it's strictly whatever you want to do and no one else can mess with that time. That will help you prevent burnout and will help you be able to endure a busy schedule long term. Now, this next thing, honestly, it may take you a while to figure out. I know for me, it took me a little bit of a trial and error period to figure this out, but it will serve you so well if you figure it out. The sooner the better. Is what is your most productive time in the day? For me, I could tell you, I am the most productive in the morning. I have always been a morning person. And for me, it is so easy to do the hardest tasks first thing in the morning. In contrast, in the evening, I'm basically dead to the world. So try to find times in the day where you are feeling the most motivated and the most productive. For me, I use this to my advantage. I put my hardest tasks on my to-do list. Whatever I do not want to do, I do that first thing in the morning. After I have my regular morning routine, the first thing on my to-do list that's hard is going to be done in the morning. That way, the rest of my evening, I can do all my easy tasks. So if you are a night owl and you know you get things done at night, then schedule it where in the morning you do a lot of lighter tasks. And then in the evening, you know you're going to sit down and you're going to grind on your hardest things that you need to do for the day. So I just think that's really important in terms of being able to actually get your to-do list done is know when you need to do certain tasks. Know what tasks are hard and when you will have the most motivation in the day to do them. And this will just be really helpful long term when you can understand what your most productive hours are and how to use that to your advantage. Another thing I want to touch on, I know this gets overused a lot, but honestly, I hate to say it, but it is so true. You need to stay disciplined. If you make a to-do list or you make a planner or some sort of schedule, you need to stick to it. Now, if it's not working, if you are sticking to your schedule and you recognize, hey, I'm still like, this is just not working for me, that's one thing. Then you need to replan and try to figure out how to fix the areas that need improvement. But I'm talking about if you are the type of person who makes all these schedules and plans everything, but then when it comes down to, it says at 1 o'clock you need to study, and you're not studying, that's a problem. You need to stay disciplined because I'm going to be so honest, you will not be motivated most of the time. If I did not actually do those things just because I didn't feel like doing them, they would never get done. So that's when you just have to be disciplined. And you will not be motivated to do half the things sometimes because motivation comes and goes. That's when you need to be disciplined. If you actually care about your goals and you care about yourself, you need to be disciplined to do the things that you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to go to this meeting or you're going to go to this event, you need to be disciplined enough that you may not feel like it in the moment, but you said you were going to do it, so you need to keep your word. And so when motivation fails, honestly, just you gotta stay consistent and disciplined with your schedule. And lastly, try to find ways to reward yourself every week. Now, I'm not saying spend a ton of money that you don't have on new clothes or things that you cannot afford. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is try to find ways where every single week you can have a little fun day and some me time to reward yourself in order to prevent burnout. For example, at the end of the week, try to hang out with some friends. Every Friday night, hang out with some friends, maybe go out to dinner, or maybe go watch a movie or go on a walk. Just have a social day where you can spend time with friends or family, and that be a reward for yourself. For me, I find when I have something planned where I am like, I'm gonna hang out with my friends this Friday, I will get everything done. I don't know if you feel that way, but I get everything done when I know that I have a social outing or something planned for the weekend. I am on top of everything because I feel like I need to get everything done so that I can enjoy my reward, so that I can enjoy my time with my friends, feeling like I earned it. I worked really hard, I did my thing, so now I'm gonna relax and hang out with my friends. So I highly encourage you, just find some ways to reward yourself. It doesn't even have to be that. It could just be maybe you want a whole day where you can read your favorite book or just bed rot. Just whatever it is, find a way to reward yourself so that you're motivated to keep doing all of the things on your to-do list every single day, knowing you're gonna get a treat at the end of the week, whether it's hanging out with friends, watching a movie, or whatever it may be. You are going to want to enjoy life a little. So don't just work all the time. Find times to reward yourself. Now that's all of the tips and advice that I have on how I stay organized and how I stay on top of all of my things. Honestly, I think it really just comes down to strategizing and maximizing your time. Find times in the day where you are the most motivated and when you can get the most work done. And then if you have to work while in school, try to find jobs that don't hinder you in your classes, and instead they are flexible with your schedule and sometimes maybe even motivating for your courses that you study. And then just try to stay consistent. I just hope that this is helpful for you, and as always, leave a like and comment down below on what content you want to see from me next. I love you guys and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!